She looked great. She'd had her hair and makeup done, but she was clearly troubled. And I saw a roller coaster of moods, intensity, a lot of anger and sadness, as we discussed how her life had been changed by fame.
You know, since this article is going to be on fame, I like to state here and now, fame is fickle. And I know it. It has its compensation. It does. But it also has its drawbacks.
Hello, and welcome to Music with a Twist, 1962. 1962 just happens to be the year that Marilyn Monroe passed away. Notice I didn't say committed suicide. I said passed away, because we really don't know. But I would like to celebrate her life today. And I'll be showing some clips of Marilyn in the last year of her life. So, here we go. Our first song today is a song that was written and composed by a Swedish composer named Bent Fabric. Yes, Bent Fabric. It actually won a Grammy, believe it or not, for being the best rock and roll song. And you would recognize it if you've ever gotten ice cream from an ice cream truck, because most ice cream trucks play this song when they're going down the street. Here it is.
Mr. President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
And that was Marilyn singing Happy Birthday to our president, John F. Kennedy. She caught a lot of flack for that, for obvious reasons. She was known to have an affair with JFK, and the dress was considered quite risque. But it was Marilyn Monroe, so what do you expect? I do not like the fact that that some people want to call her names or call her a whore. I actually one time had somebody say to me that why would he want to read a quote, because it was about Facebook. It was a quote on Facebook that from Marilyn Monroe. He said, "Why would you read a quote from somebody who was nothing but a whore?" And what I'd like to know is when your sexual habits started having anything to do with your intelligence. Just want to know. That's all. That dress has been worn recently by Kim Kardashian, and she had it loaned out from the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. And a lot of people had a problem with that, but rest assured, the dress is safe and sound back at Ripley's, even though Kim Kardashian had to lose 10 pounds to be able to put it on. Our next song is a song that was sung by Chris Montez, who was the first Hispanic sensation since Richie Valens, who was killed in a tragic plane accident just a few years earlier. Actually, Richie Valens was his mentor. So here it is.
Hey baby, won't you take a chance? Say that you'll let me have this dance, so let's dance. Let's dance. We'll do the twist and stomp the mashed potato too. Any old dance that
I ought to have about 40 for the truck and me. That leaves 25 for you, Perce. That all right? Perce!
No, you fellas take it. I just came along for the ride anyway.
If you're wondering why my eyes look weird, it's because I'm dealing with some eye issues today. I have had itchy, burny, watery eyes all morning, and I'm just toughing through. But that was a scene from Marilyn Monroe's last film, The Misfits, that she was in with Clark Gable. And Clark Gable died just 10 days after they finished up with principal photography. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that there was a deleted scene in which Marilyn had taken upon herself, it was not in the script, to drop her sheet during a love scene. And she would have been the first American actress to show nudity in a film. But the scene was deleted, and it was thought to be destroyed. But it was not. It was found by someone who was doing some research, and I have tried and tried and tried to place that scene and to find it, and I cannot. So if anybody else can, please send it to me, because I would love to have a copy of that. Our next song was written and performed by Bobby Pickett. He wrote this song in less than an hour. He was planning on cashing in on some of the new dance crazes, like the mashed potato, and it was also Halloween. So he came up with the Monster Mash, which we think of as a really cute song, and we hear it every year at Halloween. But when it first came out, the BBC thought that it was too morbid, and they banned it from radio.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash, he did the mash. It caught on in a flash, he did the mash.
Fame? I smell caviar. It's good to have caviar, but we had it every damn day. You know? Yeah, too much caviar. And yet, it stares at them, Monroe.
In Marilyn's last interview, the topic was fame. And she spoke a lot on what she thought about fame and what it had done to her and for her life. A few things came out of that interview, I think, that were pretty obvious, and that is that Marilyn had a hard time being happy. She suffered from depression and also from imposter syndrome. And if you don't know what that is, you can Google it. It's very hard to explain. But she was very self-conscious, and she really didn't feel like many of her coworkers liked her very much. But Marilyn, in my eyes, the things that matter are things like the fact that in her home that she died in, she had a room built to the garage, and that room was specifically as a spare bedroom for any of her friends who were ever going through anything where they just wanted to get away and be somewhere safe until they felt like they were okay again. You know, seems like something so simple, but how many people do that? You know, how many people think about that? And I think Marilyn was a special person. So, there you have it. Our last song today is a song called Cry to Me by Solomon Burke. It is a very memorable song. It's one of my favorites, and it's been covered by the Rolling Stones and just more recently, Kelly Clarkson. And if you've ever seen the movie Dirty Dancing, then you've heard this song.
And nobody calls you on the phone. Don't you feel like crying? Don't you feel like crying? Here I am, baby. Come on, cry to me.
I want to end this episode by mentioning a few things that you may not have known about Marilyn Monroe. Mostly everybody thinks of this sex symbol, dumb blonde, and certainly that was the persona that she was marketed with. But Marilyn Monroe was also a published poet, a lover of modern art, an avid reader of complex literature. She was a shrewd entrepreneur and business leader, being only the second woman to own her own production company. She was an advocate for equality and took a stand for Ella Fitzgerald when she was banned from playing in clubs. She was an accomplished chef, and diamonds were not her best friend. Her books were her prized possessions.